SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Good morning everybody, let's have a look at, I'll start with Euro and blah blah blah, move on to crypto. Things are looking quite good, I say, still for traditional markets, but the Euro, again, is the main thing of concern, right? And let me just show you something on the weekly, right? So the weekly, again, strong uptrend above all major moving averages, moving its way up to potentially the 200s exponential or simple, which the peak of this run, if it were to get there, and I'm not suggesting that it will, but I'm saying the absolute peak on a weekly would be 112. That's what it suggests. But the money flow index is pretty high. We've got bearish divergence on the weekly and on the daily, which I'll show you in a minute. I just want to show you this first, which is your money flow index reads, right? So unlike crypto, we don't see things usually creep massively outside of the comfort zone being above 80. On more or less anything, you get it on stocks, but when it comes to currencies, not very often. You saw it on dollar yen, which is why we took that short position at the peak, and also why we thought that there was going to be a shift in the Dixie. But it's not normal to see that kind of behavior. Normally, creeping outside of the comfort zone above 80 is enough to suggest that we are reaching a peak on a weekly, by the way. So I mean, a decent pullback is required around these levels. Again, doesn't necessarily mark a particular top, but it can be quite useful to gauge where a top might be found, right? Temporary top, or sometimes even an absolute peak. We've seen that with Bitcoin every time on a weekly. So what we see here is a peak of about 82, right? So that's no big deal. Where was the last time we came outside the comfort zone? Was this peak here? Outside the comfort zone, a reasonable peak here. Any other times? Yeah, here. Any other times? Well, we got quite close to it here, got reasonably close to it here, but not quite. Any other bit of significant peaks? Yep, there was one there. Any more? Yep, there was one there. Any more? Yep, there was one there. Any more? Anyway, you get the idea. It's more often than not outside the comfort zone, above 80 on the weekly, can represent a significant peak. Now, excuse me, if we just look at what's going on right now with this weekly candle body, a fair bit of a sell-off at the moment. Again, this is Friday, so it's not actually closed yet. This is so far spinning top. So this is spinning top, a shooting star. Sorry, but what this candle body represents is sellers outweighing buyers, potentially finding a peak. Now I sound like a broken record because I've been saying that we're coming for a peak from all the way from back around 107. I was been looking for a top to form on this one. We've got the absolute opposite of a candle body going on over here, showing the strong buys. Now it looks like we're representing the strong sells. As I was saying yesterday, it's not so much about the chart as much as it was the central bankers. ECB raised rates by 0.5 basis points, so outperforming the rate hikes of the Fed, doubling that basically. But they're still behind, really. They've got a lot of catching up to do, and I think this is the way that the central banks are going to be for a little while, to be honest. So European, and I'll say European, Europe, ECB, Bank of England, and everybody else playing catch up with the Fed, and that should continue on a fundamental basis. The downside on the Dixie, but what did we see yesterday on the Dixie? A bounce. Interesting. Well, look, the bounce has taken us up to the 10 exponential on this daily over here, and the pullback has also taken us to the 10 exponential on the daily. So basically they are the inverse of each chart. It's like a negative to a photo, isn't it, really? So what's the Dixie doing? What's the Euro doing? They're doing exactly the opposite, but getting support and resistance on the same areas. So what we're looking for is for something to give. If something gives on this, then we come down to the center again, like we did a few days ago. And if that gives, we come down a lot further. And this could spark, and probably will spark, the consolidation which is required for all our best friends, such as Bitcoin and S&P. And it doesn't mean we're going to go into full reversals or anything like that. It just means a natural consolidation to which is required at this point, really. But it hasn't yet come, right? So, I think there's always going to be a lot of frustration in trading for people who haven't got entry points, or people who aren't, don't have a hodl bag, or, people are looking to get their foot in the door, and all they see is it going up and up and up And emotions give way, and people just end up buying. And Captain Noobmaster will be one of them. And there's nothing wrong with that, as opposed at this stage in the cycle, provided you're prepared to allow for this to chop around for what could be a couple of years. I'm not even joking when I say this. This could be, and it could be, like a top which might not get broken for maybe a year or two. I'm not joking when I say that. If you think about what happened in 2019, that kind of situation occurred over here. So we had this first initial run into the beginning of the bull market, and we didn't see that peak get broken for 500 days. 500 days. That's about basically 18 months, or just over that. So Captain Noobmaster, somebody bought the top over here. Obviously, they're in profit now. They were in profit for a fair bit over here, but for the most part, they weren't in profit. So I'm just putting it out there that there is no reason to suggest that Bitcoin doesn't consolidate from here and spend a fair amount of time accumulating, chopping around, allowing for a very decent trading range, whether it be bots or scalps or derivatives, or just generally enjoying the market with altcoins. There's no reason why this couldn't be a temporary top. So you do have to be prepared for that. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think we probably do, before the next 18 months is over, find a new high on this. But we have to be prepared that this is maybe a peak. And like I say, I'm not suggesting that it is. I'm just putting it out there to everybody that, waiting for a consolidation to get your foot in the door is better than, going, screw it and just buying in. Unless, of course, you're prepared to wait out, maybe an 18-month period before you actually start to make profit. You could be down and up on all over the place. So again, everyone's got their own strategy, I should hope. If there is no strategy, there is obviously no hope for you. You've got to have a plan, and if you do plan to buy here, you also have to be prepared to see downside as well as upside. Anyway, a consolidation is still required on this chart. Look, MACD's crossed down, still above the 0 point quite significantly. We are consolidating on momentum, which is fine as well. On the daily, I should say, only on the daily. Let's take it to the weekly, where the money flow index had still retained its uptrend of momentum. This is fine. And again, I wouldn't get particularly concerned for a pop on this until we start to reach over the 80 read, which is what we did over here. Look, this is the highest money flow index read on the chart, and this was the 2019 peak, 14,000. So we're not like that now. We do have a very constructive money flow index by the dip kind of a momentum. So there is a chance that we do go higher on this one, and I think we probably will based on a weekly. But consolidations aren't just pullbacks on this chart. We always on this channel have to look at the broader picture, thinking about the domino effect of Forex to stocks to Bitcoin to altcoins and even commodities as well, I suppose, and what that might incur. So if we get the first domino falls, being Forex, then the second domino will fall, being stocks, and then the third domino being Bitcoin, and the fourth domino being all the altcoins will fall. So there's a chain of events, the butterfly effect almost, really. And this is why we focus on this chart. And this chart again, on the daily, bang, 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 3 drives of bearish divergence marking this current peak that we found over here. This could be the start of a normal consolidation, one that we've been looking and waiting for a little while now, that could take us down for a bullish retest of either the 50 exponential, which is another 2.5% from where we're at right now, to maybe the 200 exponential, which is only a 3.5% move. But a 3.5% move on something like euro and to dollar would be a decent move on Dixie. And again, if we just measure these out, just word for word, move for move, we are looking for that to pierce the 200 exponential, which would be a bearish retest as well of this death cross. Maybe we see us go a little higher on this one to the 200 simple moving average, just short of 5%. All of these are very, very possible and plausible. And that would, that would most likely cause a ripple within the stocks and other currencies and Bitcoin and crypto. The dollar yen is still doing the same thing. We've been in this channel for a while. We can see that the channel has remained strong, so we're still in the top of the channel, scraping the top of the Bollinger Band center. Now we're pulling back down again. Do we edge back down again to the lower 20s? Is the question. Why wouldn't we? While we're in this, we have to expect to remain within it. We still have the bearish divergence, especially after this last little run. So there is always that chance. So I'm not suggesting that any of this move on the Dixie takes place right now. Euro is holding, dollar to yen is rejecting, but there will come a point where this does reverse. And we did, and we still have this incredibly large measured move. Let's just say for whatever reason we break this today, we could cause a measured move all the way up to the mouth of the breakout up to this level over here. I don't know why I measured that for you, to be honest. Still waking up. It's very early here. We're looking for a 10% move, really, at tops, absolute tops on this one. I'm not saying that you're going to get a 10% move. The chances are we would just have a bearish retest for the 130s for dollar yen. But there is a chance that we break and continue up. So I'm just putting it out there that, there could be significant peak on this chart. Could be in the operative word. Likely, not particularly likely. There is a good chance that we do make a new high on Bitcoin before an 18-month period. I'm not suggesting any of that. And it looks very likely that there is a bull market in play. And again, I've been saying it since last year. This, I was pretty sure at the time, and I've been saying every other day since, all the way back here in October through November and blah, 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 that I think this is the bottom of the bear market for the S&P and for stocks, and that looks quite likely now, doesn't it? People say, "No, you're wrong. We're gonna go down further. It's gonna be like a black hole swallowing up the price." All right, well, we'll see, won't we? I just feel as though that is the low. It doesn't mean we don't double bottom somewhere along the lines later on this year, but I still think that is the low. I still stand by that, but the S&P has come up to its next major level of resistance outside of the descending trend line, so marking the major portion of the bear market trend line, really, of the descending triangle. Not obsolete, but less likely to be as aggressive as it has been before. But it does look like the bear market has finished, and this was the bottom, which is good, because I bought a load of stuff for my pension down here, which is great. And I bought a bit more over here for my pension. But now it's time to wait and see if we do get the rejections that we've been waiting for and the pullbacks that are required, because trading is like a cat stalking a mouse, not a dog chasing a squirrel. You see a cat sort of waiting patiently to pounce at the right time, endless amounts of patience. Whereas a dog will never catch a squirrel chasing after it, FOMOing into that squirrel's tail. It's never going to work out. And that's what we should think about right now. Let's just be patient. Every time we come to these areas, especially when we've got momentum divergences that we have had for, I suppose, quite a while, and this would be a third drive, one to be taken seriously, there is a better chance at this point now that we come down for a bullish retest of a lower zone on the euro, for a potential breakout for the dollar yen, for a pullback from a decent breakout level for the S&P, and again, more or less marking a significant low, oversold low for the Dixie. That I would be looking to see a decent bounce, even if it's just a bearish retest of the 104 to 105 zone. And again, all of this would correspond to price action for Bitcoin, which again, has had a very significant run and enjoyed itself, and we've all enjoyed ourselves. And we're looking for a consolidation to, recognize if this is a bear market rally or if it is the beginning of a bull market. And then we can treat all these charts appropriately as and when we come down to areas of significance. But for the moment, of course it can run a little higher. Of course it can. Am I expecting it to? I don't know. Depends on the broader picture and the domino effect that we see in traditional markets. Anyway, I am doing a live stream tonight. I appreciate this is a very long video. If you could like and send a comment, that helps my algorithm so I can compete with all the moon boys, which are telling everybody to buy. And other than that, if you want to join the Patreon, links in the description below. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just a like is very much appreciated. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.